I think in my last video discussing Electronic Arts and BioWare's Anthem, I said I don't hate the game, because I don't. I personally feel it's decent, it at the very least scratches that Iron Man itch many of us have had, but outside of that, Anthem is a gigantic mess that could have been so much more, but poor leadership, mismanagement, lies, and non-stop controversies has ruined the potential for this live service game. There's currently a long list of issues facing Anthem like loot and endgame content that must be resolved fast, and honestly, I have my doubts. Now with Activision and Treyarch's Black Ops 4, I'll be blatantly honest, I hate the game. Not because of gameplay, which actually can be quite enjoyable, but everything about the game's monetization is anti-consumer, and it continues to get worse and more predatory. The thing is, the Call of Duty audience has been complaining for years about Activision's consistent BS, but the huge problem with franchises like this is that Activision hears the complaints, but they know 15-year-old little Jimmy is going to rant on Twitter and Reddit about every single horrible decision they make, but he still will be among one of the first players online when the next big Call of Duty game releases later in the year. I'd argue franchises like Call of Duty, FIFA Ultimate Team, and NBA 2K are good examples of live service games that thrive off of casual audiences that either don't know or don't care about the ridiculous amount of microtransactions or predatory anti-consumer features that are implemented in these video games. Yeah, we'll call it video games. Publishers like Activision and Electronic Arts know this, which is why they won't change their greedy ways. They will simply keep on pushing forward with more ways to monetize their audiences. Remember those $60 days for a good multiplayer experience? They're over. It's now into the hundreds and sometimes thousands of dollars, and it's only going to keep on increasing. Anyway, let's keep on going. Electronic Arts made the mistake in 2017 treating Star Wars Battlefront 2 like FIFA Ultimate Team, and it appears the original plans for Battlefield 5 may have been very similar. EA underestimated their non-sports gaming audience, thinking it was more similar to the casual FIFA Ultimate Team audience rather than what it is, a mix of casual and hardcore gamers, the hardcore being more vocal about things like monetization and consumers being treated fairly. With Activision, their star franchise is Call of Duty, which is largely played by a casual audience. Often I hear people refer to this franchise as quote-unquote dead, but it still is yearly among the top sellers, and millions upon millions of copies are sold. Just look at the last two Call of Duty games, Black Ops 4 and World War II, which have both managed to sell over 20 million copies, which is something that every gaming publisher or developer dreams of. That success is hard to come by, but it really is unfortunate how Activision has chosen to treat its consumers. This is not something that's new, it's been a yearly problem, and it's been getting worse and worse. I don't know why it is with Treyarch games, but it seems like those titles specifically have been getting greedier and more predatory. I've said it multiple times in the past, but Black Ops 3 is the definition of pay to win, with weapons being in loot boxes and that being the only way to find them. It's just a horrible experience that really should have gotten more coverage from games media calling it out, but we're seeing the same practices now with Black Ops 4. It started with the monetization system that looks very similar to Fortnite, but they made it 20 times worse, and the fact that you can pay for everything all at once just to get to the level 100 tier, it's ridiculous. It just shows the flaws in the system and why Activision doesn't care for their audience. They just care about money. That's all it is about, and it's going to continue to get worse. As I discussed in a recent video, some of you may have missed this, but we discussed the latest monetization crap that Activision's been pulling with Black Ops 4. Yes, they're bringing in more tricks and strategies, we'll call them strategies, to monetize the current audience. They're doing this by making the loot boxes more predatory. What I mean by that is, with Operation Spectre Rising, which these Black Ops 4 operations are the equivalent to the start of a new Fortnite season. Well, in this case, Treyarch and Activision have added new cosmetics into the loot box pool that includes death effects and weapon charms, which have to be unlocked for every single weapon. That wasn't the case with last year's Call of Duty, which in Call of Duty World War II, if you found a weapon charm in a loot box, it was unlocked for every single weapon, which my assumption is this business decision was done because of Activision's financial troubles in 2019. Anyway, on top of that, as YouTuber Prestige's Key pointed out on Twitter, Black Ops 4 Zombies has apparently received the same treatment, and what I mean by that is, as he states, you need to unlock the same face paints multiple times for the same character in Zombies. you have to unlock the face paint for the normal model and the IX model. So all Treyarch and Activision have done is make it 100 times harder to get cosmetics you actually want. There's also the fact that the new Blackout characters are locked in these loot boxes. Sometime recently, the amount of items you receive per loot box was reduced from 3 to 1. Unlike a game like Apex Legends, which at the very least doesn't drop item duplicates, Black Ops 4 does. And then weapons that you missed in previous operations can only be found in loot boxes or bundles, like this $28 quote-unquote deal for a cool hammer. We could also get into the issue with signature weapons and the XP boosts that are associated with some of them, but I think you guys have an understanding of this mess, which unfortunately appears to be all a part of a plan by Activision. In the latest financial conference call with investors, which happened just days ago, soulless Activision Blizzard CEO Business Suit Bobby Kotick revealed to investors there are more gamers than ever before and more ways for gamers to interact with our franchises than ever before. We have clear opportunities to grow the reach, engagement, and monetization of our franchises, including through some very new business models. We have vast experience in all business models, including free-to-play, which is exactly what they treat Black Ops 4 and these Call of Duty games, but whatever. And we're continually evaluating the most effective models to all of our games. In addition to this opportunity for our core business, we have company-specific growth opportunities as we add new engagement and monetization models to our franchises, including esports, in-game advertising, and digital consumer products, and we're making great progress in these areas. Later, it was revealed by Collister Johnson, who has the name of a Civil War soldier, I think, but anyway, he's the Activision Blizzard president and chief operating officer, and he stated Call of Duty in-game net bookings was lower year over year, but the team continues to iterate around in-game features and offerings within Black Ops 4, testing new ways for players to participate in in-game content both for that game and for future titles. Which, what this indicates is exactly what I personally expected. They are testing the waters with these new monetization features for now and the future. Modern Warfare 4, which has been all but confirmed as this year's Call of Duty game, Call of Duty 2019, will be announced in the coming days. Like with every Call of Duty game, all the big influencers, from the T. Martins to the big celebrities, will hype up the game. Modern Warfare 4 may actually be a phenomenal experience. Probably will have a great announcement trailer, which should be coming any day now. When I was growing up, the Modern Warfare franchise was something I loved. You got a solid single-player experience with some enjoyable characters like Captain John Price and Ghost, and then you had the multiplayer, which featured some amazing map design, great weapons, unique kill streaks, the nuke. Old Infinity Ward did a great job, and I'm curious to see if the new Infinity Ward can recapture some of the magic. But there is a key difference between now versus then, and it's the publisher. Activision has established themselves as the vultures of this industry, and it seems like everybody is just okay with that. They've accepted it. But with Modern Warfare 4, based on what's happening to Black Ops 4, it should be indication of the BS that's inevitable. Activision's financial struggles just means more microtransactions and greed from a company that clearly doesn't care about its consumers. So as Activision Blizzard's COO said, they are testing the waters to see what further monetization they can get away with in Black Ops 4 and eventually Modern Warfare 4. Loot boxes are what this company values the most, and with more studies coming out like this one from today linking the predatory and manipulative feature to gambling, you just have to wonder how long until governments worldwide start cracking down even more, because that day is coming soon. Activision has set themselves up for long-term failure by building their business on greed and anti-consumer practices. Anyway, I actually now want to turn my attention to the other side of this parent company, which is Blizzard, who has been having some very public issues because of the change in leadership and direction and vision, something again confirmed in this latest financial call, in which once again the Activision Blizzard COO revealed Blizzard monthly active users were 32 million, lower year over year, reflecting the gap since the major content launch and the fact that we are still in the early innings of expanding our in-game content capabilities. We highlighted last quarter that increasing the flow and the frequency of compelling in-game content and upfront releases is the #1 goal set by the new Blizzard leadership team. that process will take time. We've seen encouraging signs in how recent in-game content has been received by Blizzard's communities. Overwatch monthly active users saw a single-digit percentage sequential decline in Q1 due to the fact that Q1 was a relatively quiet quarter for in-game content and consumers had increased choice in the team-based category this quarter. So surprised, but Blizzard's player size is falling, and as Johnson stated, they have a goal to fix that. Importantly, the old Blizzard days are over, in with the new, which I mean it really will be interesting to see how the Blizzard community feels about Activision's clear influence continuing to grow, because I definitely feel that this company has a fixation on monetizing players over creating enjoyable content. Now, another really strange thing that's being discussed by the Blizzard community is the fact that at BlizzCon 2019, you must use a phone app to get into the show. A lot of people are having trouble understanding why, and my belief is that this is all part of Activision Blizzard's continuing mission to gather data on just about everything. I mean, heck, they're monitoring their employees' pregnancies. I don't put anything past them at this point. But to make matters worse, the phone app that attendees must use to attend has been identified as basically spyware. This article from The Outline, written last year, titled "Ticketing App AXS Scrapes Everything It Can Get from Your Phone," and it perfectly sums up the issues and concerns about Activision's motivation for forcing this on attendees. As stated in the article, the app collects first and last name, precise location, how often the app is used, what content is viewed using the app, which ads are clicked, what purchases are made and not made, a user's personal advertising identifier, IP address, operating system, device make and model, billing address, credit card number, security code, mailing address, phone number, email address, among many others. And the phone app actually shares this information with, I guess, any company, as stated in this article. AXS shares all of this information with a laundry list of advertisers, marketers, unknown clients, and third-party services. AXS also shares the personal data collected on its customers with event promoters and other clients. Like I said earlier, my assumption is that Activision Blizzard is doing this to probably gather data on some of their biggest fans, those being the attendees of BlizzCon 2019. I will say it's quite concerning how so many of these companies, not even just gaming, have found ways to gather any and all data they can get on their customers. This feels like something straight out of tons of futuristic dystopian games, books, and movies I've seen from the 80s and 90s. Anyway, in conclusion, the shenanigans happening with Black Ops 4 will only continue later this year with Modern Warfare 4. There are a lot more issues I could have brought up, like how players on Reddit have compared how lackluster this year has been versus last year in terms of content produced. But Black Ops 4 is a microtransaction greedy disaster, and I personally just wish many Call of Duty influencers and games media who hype these games up before launch would be more outspoken about these issues, but I guess they don't care or don't want to ruin that free flight out to the next Call of Duty reveal event. With Blizzard, I really don't know what to expect moving forward. So far, the reports from Kotaku have indicated the publisher has been hurt by Activision's growing influence, and I truly fear future games will either be rushed out incomplete like most live service games these days, or there will be even more monetization features implemented into games like Overwatch. As the player base continues declining, I just think there's more pressure than ever on Blizzard to deliver, which you have to wonder if the quality of upcoming games will be affected by this. But what do you guys and gals think about Modern Warfare 4 and the future of Blizzard? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, but thank you for watching. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy this video or found any informative value, and make sure to follow my other social media accounts for updates on new videos. Links are always down in the description below. I'm most active on Twitter, giving opinions on news that I do not always get into video form, so make sure to follow me over there. Also check out my Discord for all sorts of discussion on games, and again, thank you for joining. Consider subscribing for more videos like this, turn notifications on so you don't miss out on any videos, and I'll see you later.